So if you've seen what I've been working on recently, I've mainly just been working on models themselves instead of just editing existing models. So I thought it'd be nice to just record the process and edit it down into a small, like, bite-sized video.
I am sorry. My name is Sonia Nevermind.
So for this, and also more like the other ones that I do, I just like to go into Photoshop and just kind of go over it with a brush to make sure it's perfectly symmetrical. And in the future, I kind of want to try like taking the photo and just mirroring it. I never have like a solid plan when I do this kind of stuff. I just kind of go into it without thinking much. I forgot to record the first segment of this, but I basically just go in Blender and just start kind of not blocking out, but like dotting important landmarks on Sonia. So I had the front and side references, and I just kind of use that to make an outline of her. When I first started modeling and making heads and stuff, I used to have like a set vertex count. Like the side view would be like 24 vertices and the eyes would be 10 vertices, but at this point I just kind of whichever vertices just gets the job done. I like to start with the chins when I model heads. I think it gives you a good starting point. Originally I was gonna do a Psycho Mizono, and then one of my friends came up and gave me $75 to do Sonia, so like, okay. Head modeling is pretty simple once you get the hang of it. At the start of it, it's pretty hard. I remember my first couple heads were pretty dog shit, and then over time it just kind of became second nature, and at this point it's just kind of outlining it and then making a grid and just filling it in. Like right here, I'm just kind of assuming where things would be if it were a finished product, so the entire model kind of relies on it being done before it's done. And then once I get the head like model, like the base part of it, parts that matter, which is kind of like the cheeks and the mouth area, I make sure everything looks good. I'll remorph it using portrait editing or sometimes sculpting. I don't like to sculpt that much. And then I kind of just finish it off. The top half of the head doesn't really matter because most of the time it's covered up by hair. So I'll mess up the topology a bit to make it more optimized. Right here, I don't know what happened. I guess like my recording just messed up and didn't save it. There's always a part in my models where like it looks like a baby that never got picked up, so it just kind of has a flat head, but it'll get fixed later, or I won't fix it. I don't really know. For the most part, my models don't really look that bad without subdivision, except the ears will mess it up 100% of the time because I don't know how to make ears, and I just kind of brute force it until it does something good when it's subdivided. So you'll end up, when it's not subdivided, you'll end up with just like Mickey Mouse or something. I don't know. Right here I'm making the eyelashes or the eyelids. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what eyelashes are in anime. I just made it because I had on the reference, so I just did it. Now I'm in a texture painting mode, so I'm just texture painting everywhere. Texture painting the eyes, the eyebrows, whatever else is on the face. Draw a little smiley face there. The mouth, I don't know what that thing is, but it was on the reference, so I drew it anyway. And I trimmed it down because I thought it looked weird. Now it looks normal, and now I like it. When it comes to cell shaded or like anime models, there are some things you just have to compromise. For the nose, like the little line on the nose on the characters, it only looks good from like some angles, and then when you rotate it left, it just looks like shit. So I just chose to take it. If it looks good from the angle that you're meant to see it from, it looks good from that angle. I don't want you looking at my model from the left side. Don't look at it from there, because it only looks good when I tell you to look at it. And now, I started the hair modeling. I hate hair modeling. I was ripping my hairs out when I made this hair. If you want to start modeling, you better make sure you do everything in your favor to not hair model, because I think there's messages that I was sending people when I was going insane, because I redid the hair. I cut it all out of the video. I redid the hair like 3 times because I hated how it looked every time, until the final time I was like, oh my god, finally the hair looks like hair and doesn't look like a spaghetti that I slapped on the model. And it still kind of looks like spaghetti slapped on the model, but at least it looks like comprehensible spaghetti and not whatever I had before, because before I didn't even have any volume. It just kind of sat on her head. I was livid. And then I did some black magic to get the braids in. I couldn't tell you how I did that. I searched up a YouTube tutorial and some random dude told me how to do it. I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I do most of this stuff. I just kind of do it. I used to follow YouTube tutorials for 6 hours to make one model. Anyways, now that that's out of the way, I'm starting to make the bow here, which it was pretty easy to make. I just kind of made a cube and extruded it a few times, which is kind of like the moral of the story when you make a model. It's just making a cube and just extruding it a few times, or a lot of times. It depends on what you're making. For the bow, it was only a few times. Oh, now I'm making the hair. Now I'm texturing that hair. I didn't even know that. The hair texture took me like 30 minutes to unwrap because I had to manually unwrap every single one and square UV every single one. It was horrible. I wanted to die. Not really. I didn't want to die. You shouldn't want to die. You should want to boost my Discord server. I don't know. So after I got that done, I did it more. I don't know. The thing about using curves over like box modeling or vertex modeling the hair is that you literally can't see anything. Like there's 90% of the model is hidden under other hair or behind what you can see. So to get like most of the textures, especially the shadows, I have to hide every single of the hair, just the texture, what's hidden on that hair. Otherwise, especially on the top, when there's a shadow on the top, like the crease, I don't know what it is. I had to spend like ages fixing that one, hiding every single one, just texture one. And now I'm modeling the clothes. The clothes was actually pretty easy because I'd been modeling clothes for almost a year now, probably a year now, I'd say. And clothing modeling is pretty easy. I have a whole other video just talking about clothing modeling. I enjoy it. I think it's nice. If you haven't modeled yet, I would start off modeling clothing before you get to like humanistic modeling, like heads and stuff, because I feel like it's just a lot easier to model clothing over modeling heads. I will say though, when it comes to modeling clothing, it is 100% easier to model skin tight clothing than it is to model like puffy clothing like this, because you have to get the shapes right, and if you get them wrong, it looks weird as fuck. When it comes to like skin tight clothing like suits, I love modeling suits, and I love modeling suits because I don't have to worry about flowy stuff. And when I get a commission from a client and it's just all this like flowy clothing, like this scarf, not the scarf's not that bad, I don't know, like this flowy clothing, ooh, it's just like I can feel the hours gone from my life just spent modeling flowy stuff. I don't know. To do the things I just showed you, what's it called, the little scarfy things on her dress, I just kind of beveled it and brought it in, and that was it. Shifty to sharpen things when you're subdividing. This thing, I have no idea what that is. I think it's some kind of gem thing. I just made it. And then for the stockings, I think they're stockings. I don't know what they are. Socks, I guess. I just deleted the toes off that, and I just brought it in, filled it in. You're not gonna see that. Hopefully you're not gonna see that. I don't like toe toggles. I'm adding a toe toggle in my model. Unless someone DMs me and says, I'll give you $100 at a toe toggle. Then I'll add the toe toggle. $100. I will say right now, I didn't like modeling these shoes. And I don't think they turned out well. And I feel like I could do a way better job modeling these shoes in the future. And I feel like that's just a way my shoes are on all of my recent models, is that I just don't know how to model shoes. I need to take like a week of just modeling shoes, and I'll just sell all the assets online somewhere. I don't know. Selling assets is a weird concept because I could sell them, but then one dude would buy them and just give them to all his friends, and then it's gone forever. I don't even need to sell my models from to just go to people. People will just rip them on VR chat. I don't know. It's weird. Over here I'm UV mapping. I hear a lot of like annoying things about UV mapping, but I don't mind it that much. I think it's pretty calming when it's not just hair. I hate UV mapping hair. It's annoying. Hair in general is annoying. I don't like hair on models. Clothing is fine. Clothing, head, that kind of stuff. I'm fine UV mapping that stuff. Back to the selling thing. I want to sell my models, but I don't know. It's a weird thing to think about. I'll consider in the future. I do want to sell my models though, so I don't know. Now that you have everything UV unwrapped, you make a texture, you make it 4K size so that you blow up everyone's computer when they load it in VR chat, and then you just paint bucket in the base colors. And then I started applying solidify modifiers, inverting the holes to make it look like outlines from 2D art, and it looks cool. It reminds me of when I was on Twitter and I saw people when the cell shading on Fortnite models broke, and people were like, it looks so much better. No, it doesn't look so much better. Fortnite models look great cell shaded. That's off topic, but I had to get it out there. Sorry. Originally I was doing Genshin models, and making Genshin outfits and Genshin textures is a pain in the ass because it's really hard to study the textures. I have a few people who are pretty good at Genshin textures, but the difference between Genshin textures and anime textures is that Genshin textures are actually hard to do, and this is really easy. It's really easy to make these types of textures. I saw like a bunch of other creators. I saw a bunch of other creators doing these types of textures, and I was like, wow, that looks pretty nice. I always preferred like the MMD models where they actually texture everything with like soft textures and stuff. I saw like the edits of those models with like anime style textures. I was like, they must have put a lot of work into them. Nope, it was really easy. It's really simple. It took me like 5 minutes to learn how to do it, and I don't know. I guess it just goes to show that at the end of the day, modeling, rigging, and UV mapping is easier. No, it's harder than anime texturing. I will forever die by that. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll change my opinion tomorrow. I don't know. What I do know is that this model is fire, and you should join my Discord server, discord.gg/vsmvrc, because it's awesome, and our boosters are awesome. We have 50 boosters right now, because in the future, we'll be getting boosters exclusive model files and stuff like that. Because when I sell these models, they all have a universal base, and I want to sell clothing for those bases. It's going to be really cool, and you should join and get in on that. I cut out all the weight painting in this video because I didn't feel like showing you that because it's really boring to watch. So I just skipped all that, and now we're posing the model for renders because the actual model itself is done. Yay! We're finished. So now I'm just kind of posing it I cut out the shape keys, making the shape keys, because that's, I don't know, maybe another time. I did, there was no resources online to figure out the type of shader that I wanted to make, so I just had to kind of brute force until it did what I wanted to do. So what I have, my shader setup right here, is basically just in the shadow, instead of having like a procedural shadow where it just kind of darkens, I want it to overlay a specific texture that I have so that I keep my liner and the details that I want to keep. All in all, I think this model turned out really good. There's some aspects that I don't like about this model, but I'll just improve it on the next model. There's a lot more to this model. There's more stuff that I made for it. There's a VR chat avatar that I made for it. More information on it. It's all on my Discord. The link's in the description. And if you want a character from an anime or a game to be modeled and have like a video made for it, just comment it or post it in my Discord and I might get around to it. I don't know. I'm just one dude. But let's look at these final renders. That's all I have. I didn't make any cool scene or anything or any animation. Sorry guys. Yeah, stop the music. Yeah, that's all I got. My bad. Subscribe for more. Join my Discord. .gg/VSNVRC. Comment something cool, like, I don't know, YouTube stuff. Bye bye.